Well, welcome to part 2 of Intro to CSS drop-down menus. This is the responsive part. In part 1, we made the drop-down menu, but now we want to make the environment responsive, and we do have a whole segment or a group of videos on responsive web design. But I couldn't just make the menu responsive without making the whole environment responsive, and I found it kind of fun getting the background images to be responsive. So let's just take a look at your code. You can always skip to the next video, but I found this quite interesting. So here we go. Let's go into Dreamweaver, and here's our final. Yeah, and you can download this video right at the bottom below the video here. But you know, our drop downs are working. I can click my little Dreamweaver icons down here at the bottom. Let's double click the file's name, move it out of the way, and I can go to here, and my menu items still aren't responsive, but notice only one image shows up. These images are scaling quite well, and if I actually scale this in live view, it really doesn't pay it justice, but you can do it yourself with the code. You have the files. So let's take a look and see what adjustments I made to the code. The HTML really didn't change at all. It's still all the IDs and classes are exactly the same. It's amazing what you can do with CSS. But if I go into the CSS, what I did was almost everything in here, like let's go into split mode, like the menu itself is set to 100%. I set the menu items to 100%. I don't use these phone options yet, though I could have. They'll be coming up in the next video. When I get down to my submenu items, they are set at 100% of the width of the master LI where they drop out of, and you'll see that each drop list item is now set to 19% below. Before I believe they were set to like 198 or 197 pixels, something like that. And I tried to set the width at 20%, but that kept popping one down to another level. But at 19%, all 5 menu items were working just fine. You know, even going into here, going out to there, everything's working cool and groovy. So pretty much it was just going through here and changing things to percentages in the menu. You'll see 100%. I changed my wrapper to 100%, header to 100%, and then below my menu, I've got the left doohickey over here and the right doohickey over here. So I just changed that to 25%, 75%. I did use a pixel value for the height. So, you know, these percentages can save you a lot of time. Now, one little trick here, let's preview this in the browser, because this was tricky. Here we go. Okay, load up, Mr. Browser. That shouldn't really take all day. Here we go. Now, as I scale it down, these hover effects are on background images. Each of these images is in the IDs, image 1, image 2, image 3, and image 4, and those don't even have images in them. They just in there. They're just ping files, and even the hover effect is a background image. So what I had to do is I had to be able to scale those background images, and not only scale the background images, but make them be centered to the environment that they were in, which was kind of a trip. So here's how I did it. First of all, since they are a background image, I wanted to set the background repeat to no repeat. I set the background position to center so they were centered within their environment, and background size contain actually scales the background image as you resize the page. Woohoo! And what I did was for each ID, notice the ID has nothing, so to speak, to do with the image, kind of, sort of. But there are 4 images, so I set the width of each one to 25%. Each of these images is, in actuality, 250 pixels by 250 pixels, and that was it. I tell you what, I would save this stuff as a code snippet right here. Especially, you're going to be using background no repeat all the time, background position center, background size contain to resize it on scale. So that was really cool and groovy to play around with. I only have one media query here because it really wasn't necessary given what I was doing. And the media query is down here at the phone size, and you can skip everything because I really didn't use any effect. And if I click on the phone down here at the bottom of Dreamweaver, you can see none of the other images show up. The menu is the same, but all I did, I don't even think that this is necessary, but down here I just changed image 2 to display none, display none, display none. I'm getting rid of the left, and I change my right portion to 100% from 75%. That's what I'm doing with my media queries. Now, another important thing, we have a video on display block and display none. Display none means don't show, but if you are going to display none somewhere else, then up here I'm going to go up into my code, and you'll see that each of these images I have set for display block. Even the hover effects are background images, I had to use the no repeat, background position center, and display block so that I could come down and say display none. So I don't know. That was a little bit about display block and display none, but also about no repeat background and background position center. Those are good little code snippets to keep in your back pocket. We'll come back in changing the menu to an actual phone menu in part 3. And you can click this file and download it right at the bottom of the video.